Sure.
Yeah, very good evening to all of you. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
you are
can. We
audible,
can
brother.
Yes, sir.
perfectly hear you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, first and foremost, I will definitely thank the Techno India Group for initiating this type of platform where we can coordinate with the leaders who are upcoming leaders for the industry, and where we will be having an interacting platform from now onwards like this, because situations internationally is more moving towards a platform which is interactive and lesser in physical mode, but in communication mode from platforms which we are using now. So, coming directly to the topic and about myself, I will, before doing that, I will request all of you, whoever is in the line, to be on mute. I request all of you to be on mute so that, yes, all of you to be on mute so that there will be no noise from outside and everybody can hear perfectly well. So once everybody is through with the muting part, then we can initiate. Yeah, that's fine. That's great, brother. So, telling about myself, I am from the financing industry for last 21 years. I'm working in diverse locations and in different organizations. I've done my technical graduation and then my MBA. After that, I have worked with pharmaceuticals and then finally with finance for long 14 years. During this process, I have worked in different positions and different responsibilities which I have shared. I have taken many students through internship also during this vivid career of 2025, 21 years. I'm having some international exposures where I've been for international conferences where I've represented my organization in international forums on financial and other distribution issues. So I will be much more interested to uh, introduce today's speaker. But prior to that, on today's topic, uh, I should be I should be more eager to tell about the topic, whatever we have discussed, whatever we are thinking. So the topic today, as it is quite evident, is a education for authentic performance and the essence of future readiness. To be precise, in this changing platform where uh, physical contacts are more challenging day in and day out, starting from going to office, reaching to customers, getting supplies ready, getting inventory ready, and getting everything done as per the time limits and as per the requirement which was there prior to this COVID crisis. So I personally feel that challenges will be there and we have to live with this COVID situation, as because the economy has to grow and economy has to go ahead with the participation of leaders like us and upcoming leaders like all of you whoever are present today. So the situation to be future ready has to be much more interesting and more challenging nowadays. Now coming to the part somebody which I was just overhearing yesterday while I was going to office, somebody was telling, and it is very relevant in today's world. I'm not telling that taking care and taking being at home and taking all this whatever government has told you, taking all those cares and things in place is important, but at the same time we have to be much more you know oriented towards future, which is going to give us that platform for going ahead and work. Somebody who was in a tea stall, I was standing and somebody was sharing that, sir, the person who are having bank balances I'm once again repeating, the persons who are having bank balances are more fearful of this virus, or rather, they are only the persons who are having the luxury to have that fear. So, if it is so, then we have, if we are having our bank balances, which is making us secure, that is one thing. Another thing is, if we are having that knowledge within us, which is making us sure or secure. So our knowledge has to be more ready for the future, which will make us sure, secure. So coming to the part of uh, why it is important and why we should be more oriented towards authentic education, which will be living by example or living by role plays and all these things, which will take us through much more example oriented, process oriented things for the future. Now, being future ready will be the topic which we will take you through all in the next 1 and 1.5 years hours of time. So during this process, I personally just want to share two things before starting this process. There are few graphs which has come up recently as per Times, that if you will see this graph, you can see to be future ready, Times is telling this is the percentage which the organizations are looking. If you are seeing in a person or capable employable person, the person how much he is capable of managing up the situations. So if you can see the person who are having maximum score, that is 50% of managing capability, or other capability having more managerial skill, has been employed more, dealing with conflicts, then negotiable and influencing skill, which should be more online, more than offline or meeting things, it will be more online. Commercial awareness, which is very much important in today's world, because uh, how much money you are involving into business and how much is you are getting it back, that is more important. That will help us to move forward. We can't be using filthily money and take things ahead, but we have to be very pinpointed towards every approach. Business communication will be the will be the word for future, because we have to tell about so many other things. Are we ready hygienically? Are we ready more? Are we giving a more secure business platform from the health point of view, finance point of view, and growth point of view? That also is important. So communication has increased. The more different communications has to be there. So people will be keen on communication who can talk more over the online platform and some other platform which are not encouraging in physical intimacies or interactions. That will be more better for future, but I will be leaving it up to the speakers who will be telling us more about it. Self-awareness, definitely problem solving. We are knowing about conflicts, but conflict solving has to happen from will have from this authentic learning only. Because if you are aware about how to solve the problem, you can go ahead. Interpersonal skill and definitely teamwork. So these things which I personally feel to these are the important parameters which will help us and take us through. Now, with this, I just want to take you through our fast speaker. We will be adding values more to our endeavor for this evening. So I'll be telling about the first speaker, who is Mr. Khalid Raza. He is an experienced HR leader with over 15 years of experience in managing, setting up and leading global team, process and systems. His strong hands and experience in various functions of talent allows him in engaging and consulting business leaders towards efficient and effective talent decisions. He spent a decade with IBM also before joining his present company, that is EY. So I am leaving it up to Mr. Reza to initiate and take us through.
Thank you, Pramit, and thank you, everyone. I hope I'm audible. If I'm not, just let me know in the chat. Super excited to be here. I was scheduled to come last week, but due to an unforeseen incident, I could not. But very excited that I'm here. And thank you, Pramit, for setting the context in terms of some of the aspects that you showed on the graph. And I made some notes about problem solving, interpersonal skills, and teamwork. I think that's going to be essential. Now, the topic, when I heard about this education for authentic performance and the essence of future readiness, it just brought me back to what do we understand by education? Sometimes our understanding of education as a word itself is a little flawed. And I've been part of these discussions earlier as well. One thing which keeps coming back time and again is, I have done courses. I have done a course in Java. I've done a course in artificial intelligence. I've done a course in interpersonal skills. What else? And I keep highlighting the fact that you getting a course done is not education. That's your credential. So if you are an MBA or if you're a graduate, that's not education. That's the testimony that you have gone through a curriculum. Education is nothing but acquisition of knowledge, skills, values, beliefs, and habits. So if you have this accumulation happening in the right mix, you're going to have the good results and you'll be more prepared for the authentic performance and the essence of future readiness. So I think we need to rehash this idea that my credentials or the courses that I've done are my education. Probably not. Education is never complete till the time you have taken the theoretical knowledge and you have experienced something out of it. And let me give an example of driving a car, or let's say swimming in a pool or an ocean. Now, if I give you tons of books on how to swim, do you think that you'll be able to learn how to swim? Probably not. Probably your fundamentals will be clear about butterfly stroke or backstroke. And by the way, I don't know how to swim, so I, I can relate with it. So you'll have all the other aspects which will be in front of you in terms of theory. But if you don't go into the water, you will not learn how to swim. And that goes for our education as well. Now, in the current world, this paradigm is far more important than it was earlier, because as we all know, that the world has changed. Some of us are thinking it's still changing because we don't know where it's going to end at this point in time. Same time 2 quarters ago, probably I would have been along with Prashant, in the campus talking to you guys face to face. But I think that world has changed. Now we are relying on technology to communicate, to interact, to learn, to essentially move ahead. And it boils down to few fundamental aspects that we need to look at when we talk about being future ready. When you're talking about being future ready, you're talking about being ready for something which you don't know what's going to be. It's like, I call Prashant and I say, Prashant, and Prashant, I'm just taking liberty of using your name, that, that there is a party tonight and I want you to come along with me. And the chances are Prashant will not be ready because Prashant doesn't know what party am I talking about. Is it a suit and tie event? Is it like just friends hanging out, or is it like a family function? So knowing some aspect of what future is going to be, I think that will help us become future ready. So we're going to talk about those pieces a bit more. But I think wherever you are, whichever field you are in, get a lot of sound understanding about that industry. Figure out where that industry is heading. Look at the macroeconomics of everything. For example, if your interest was in tourism, do you think at this point in time tourism is the best bet for you? Or if you're looking at, let's say, pharma, now in pharma, which aspect are you going to focus on? So I think that little bit of forming of what future is going to look like will help us to prepare for the future. And then the last thing comes about you as an individual. So, as I said, future is uncertain. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what skills are needed. What do we do? I think the first thing we need to rehash about ourselves is essentially just not focus on, specific courses per se, but look at that I am as an individual, I can do anything that is needed by the corporate world. Anything. Now, it could be about your competency. It could be outside of a competency. Your objective of becoming the problem solving or problem solver, which Pramit was talking about, makes a lot of importance here. So with that, I'll give it back to you, Pramit. Thank you for having me here. And it's very exciting to be part of this discussion.
Great, Mr. Khalid. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible, Pramit.
So great, Khalid. You have given us a detailed idea about what is going to be future record. So the person who is going to step into this industry, which is taking them for their career, for their now the important thing is, are we going to predictions? What is going to come to my life? If not, and if yes, or rather, I will be more inclined towards making my own. Will I predict or will I make it? So if I have to predict less and prepare more for my own, then what will be the capabilities, what will be the competences, and what will be the things which will guide me for the future and which will make me more employable to this world who are waiting for me, who are seeing a proper person in me, and which I can enjoy as a successful person in my career pursuit. So I personally feel the next person is going to take us through this is quite evidently uh, give us the input and insight and will give us the details of what we are going to do in the future. Telling about our next speaker, Mr. Prashant Datta, is an English graduate and MBA from now ISM IIT, with 20 years of experience in varied industries and vast geographical and cultural exposure. Prashant Datta is currently associated with a private bank in a senior role, leading to a big team and taking care of business of entities. Around 15 years of experience in financial industry, ranging from mutual fund to banking. Prashant has a rich exposure of creating and handling large teams and business complexities. Sales and distribution and channel management have been his forte before plunging into the financial industry. While working as a business head, B2C business, financial inclusion, financial products, electronically deliverables services, electronically deliverable services, he was associated in various projects, both government and private initiatives. In banking, he has rich exposure in retail and in the institutional sales, insight and trend analysis, public relations, business development, and marketing. Prashant has interest in public speaking and is passionate writer after his working hours. He is known face as an efficacious speaker and presenter in various forums. Prashant lives in Calcutta with his wife and school-going daughter. So this is in a nutshell about Prashant. We'll be listening more about him and for him about the future for all of us, which where we can present ourselves better and get our maximum benefit ahead. It is all over to Prashant Datta. Prashant Datta, sir, please.
Yeah, Pramit, thank you very much. Pramit, can you hear me? Just a confirmation. Is it okay? Okay, so thank you very much, Pramit. Thank you very much, Purva. Thank you very much, Techno University, for organizing this event and, of course, inviting me for being one of the guest speakers. So I feel really happy. Of course, I cannot see the face of all the students, but I'm sure that they are somewhere there in the small screen of this mobile phone. Because like digitally we have proceeded very ahead. So what Khalid was mentioning, Khalid, by the way, very insightful. Khalid was mentioning, like that had things been normal, maybe today we would have been meeting in person. A physical meeting would have happened. But then, as it has happened, is that there is an impediment that has come on our way in the form of COVID-19. And but then one thing is there that this physical meeting is now happening in a digital platform. So one good thing that to set the tone for my talk is that we as Indians or we as humans, the best thing that we could do is that we always know that there has to be some alternative and we adapt to the changing environment very, very fast. Now, while I was trying to understand that what exactly is the expectation for this particular event, today's event, what I could understand is that students, those who are in the final year of their graduation, next year they would be passing out and they would have actually ideally been going through a placement time at this point of time. Now, since this situation has arisen and this is a disaster situation, and since this is arisen, so in that case, what has happened is that there is a lot of uncertainty which has shifted, especially the near future, that what exactly is going to happen. And believe you me that uncertain times, whenever it comes, it is quite natural to feel overwhelmed and, of course, despairing. And one thing that happens that we all tend to feel afraid, and people pull inwardly. So this is something which is a natural response to a problem that comes up without saying much or without giving much of an inclination that is going to happen. The disaster also changes people's perspective. People get afraid and pull inwardly, is something which I am mentioning. But then here what has to be done is that we have to be in an act that we are definitely in a present, which is a difficult time. But we have to keep the idea of a bright future in our mind. So before we go to the detail of what exactly, because there are a few questions also which were there, which I received from Purva, compiled by Purva. Now, here what is there that we have to keep in mind certain things. We know this for sure, that the world is not going to collapse. Now, if this is a time which is, we can term it as a pandemic or epidemic or a disaster, whatever we feel like adding it to. But then what we can understand is that let us try very quickly to understand that this difficult time, is it the most difficult time that has ever happened to humankind? Is it the most difficult time which has actually impacted the entire economy? Now, we may, if we look back into the history, then we will see that there are several such epidemics, several such pandemics, several such floods, several earthquakes, several, so many things have happened. So many things have happened. The death toll is something which is unimaginably high. The economy has actually collapsed, not only for our country, for even all across the globe. But then what happens is that every time such kind of a problem comes up, it takes a little time to get back to normal, and then people go back to normal with even more strength. So, as it happens in life, that will not come across a stronger person with an easy past. So I believe that this difficult time is doing one thing, which whether we want it or not, is that it is making us stronger. Now, very quickly, if I have to come to that, what exactly a student should do at this point of time, because there are a lot of questions that is coming in the mind. If I have to define the phases of life, so see, the first 3 years of a life is actually a preschool life where, nourishment is all that is important. So the parents take care of our nourishment. And then the child steps into the world of education, the world of academics. And that this world of academics is something which goes on for maybe 20 years. So by the time a person completes his education, it is somewhere between 23 to 25, depending with that what level of education a person chooses to quit their academics or hang the boot for education. And then one gets into the work life. Now, work life is the longest phase of a person. Of course, in this entire work life, there are a lot of personal changes that happens. A person will get into his own family, the children and their education, they're growing up. But then I mean to say that working life as a phase of a person is the longest, ranging for maybe 35 years. Now, when it is so long, 35 years, does it really matter that if the start is a little slow? I don't think that a slow start is going to really have that impact, which actually at this point of time, our mind must be conceiving and feeling it all about. Now, one thing more that we have to always keep on having in mind is that something good is going to happen. We just don't know what it is yet. Now, if I have to go through this, the phase from academics to work life, the most important difference that happens is that we migrate from an economic dependence to independence. That means till now, while you are in a college or you are studying, you are paying. But the moment you get into the work life, you start getting paid. So the whole world around us changed. Now, if the whole world around us has to change, definitely somebody who is hiring, whether it is your own entrepreneurship that you get into, or is it like you choose to work for an institution, whatever organization that you choose to, whatever industry you choose to, there has to be a difference that you have to deliver results. Now, you have to deliver results. For that, there are certain skill sets that are required. So an organization may actually look for those skill sets. If you have those skill sets, the organization will actually think that, yes, this is a person who actually, if onboarded and given a training and given an opportunity, may actually come forward and then give a result to us. Now, in this point of time, while we see that there is an economic slowdown, one thing that we have to keep in mind is that India is still a better country as compared to many other developed countries, many other big economies. While most of the economies across the globe are expected to show a degrowth in the GDP, we are not talking about a negative growth of our GDP. Maybe aspirational, maybe 10 years back, we're talking about 9% GDP growth for the country in 1 year. And then now suddenly or partially or gradually it has come down to maybe 5%, 6%. Today, like even if it is 1.5% or maybe a 2% or 1%, still it's a growth. Now, when I talk about a growth in a massive economy like India, that itself results in a lot of job creations. It results in a lot of revenue generation. It creates a lot of changes in the economy. A lot of things happens. Just to give a small example, during this entire lockdown, during this entire or the new normal that we talk about, in this new normal, what has happened is that our dependence on the economic or dependence on the e-commerce market has grown up like anything. I understand that if there is an opportunity, a person would actually avoid using the cash, instead go for a cashless alternative. Now, these cashless opportunities were always there, but then this is something which will only keep on growing from here. It's not only the phenomenon which is contained only to the nation, but also globally. So, while recalling and going through some of the data, I could understand that today, while we are an economy which is a very, or a country which is a very young country, the average age must be around 27, 26, 28-year-old. That is the average age of the country. Of course, a person like me or maybe Pramit or few more in this group are actually disbalancing the average age. But then the larger participants here, the students, they are actually bringing or making this country even more younger. So I was just thinking that all across, we all take out our cards, we do net banking. Since I'm from banking, and Pramit can very easily relate, of course, we'll definitely tend to work or talk more about money matters or money things. Now, here one thing is there that this entire transformation that has happened in the field of digital, or while I say digital, of course, maybe this is which is for Khalid, since a technology person, Khalid would understand, or for him it is just anything normal. But for a person like me, we have seen that there was a time when life never moved without cash. We had to go and stand in the queue in the bank, pull out money, and then get our day-to-day work done. But then now what has happened is that ATM was the next thing that happened. And after ATM, now the wallet that we talk about is a digital wallet, net banking. So you do not have to literally carry. And then, of course, there are many, many countries. And of course, in India also fast adopting is that the mobile phone is also the wallet. So all financial transactions can be done through the mobile phone. While we talk about the mobile phone today, see this entire discussion is also happening while we are all doing this discussion digitally. Was it thinkable or even imaginable 10 years back? I think it was not. It was there, but it was an expensive proposition then. Now it is like literally free of cost. Today, even a person who is in the rural India, they also understand that the power of this internet. While we talk about all these things, we may feel that this entire world, this entire country is already covered with internet. But it's like slightly lesser than 25%. So that means out of 5 people, only 1 person uses internet. Since we are in the urban area, so that way we may have a feeling that every other person is using the internet, but it's only 1 out of 5 people. So if this Indian economy the dependence on the digital part. Say very quickly, I would like to give one small data that this entire e-commerce market is around $37 billion. Now, $37 billion, and we feel that, okay, this is something which is so huge. But then again, this is only 3% of the total retail market that we have in the country. So the $37 billion that I'm talking about is just 3% or little less than 3% of the total retail market. So that means this is a huge journey to be covered. And the journey that will be covered in the next maybe 2 years, 3 years, 5 years time will be much faster than the journey that we covered in the last maybe 50 years or maybe 10 years. And whenever such kind of a journey has to be traveled, it will lead to a lot of requirement, a lot of skilled people. A lot of people will be required. People with the right skill would actually get a lot of opportunities. See, earlier days when our parents used to work, now, of course, I have a feeling that, any person and every person is being paid in a 7-digit salary. Now, this was something which was not thinkable. Okay, somebody may say that, the inflation has also gone up. But inflation has gone up, and despite that also, the opportunity for earning money for people have actually gone very, very high. Our parents, they used to buy a car maybe at the fag end of their career. Our parents used to build a house or buy a house maybe after their retirement. Now what happens? The person joins a job, and the first year only, he may book a flat and he may buy a car. And then what happens is that so Purva sent a message, so I was distracted by that particular message. Yes, Purva, I will go for the Q&A after this. So now what happens is that the moment a person jobs, within a year only, a lot of things are quite within the achievable range of the person who takes up a job. Why it happens? Because a lot of things have changed around us. The easy credit is available. Now, easy credit is available, so that means we can actually think of a brighter future, which was far away from here. We can bring it down to right at this point of time. This entire discussion that I'm trying to bring home only one point is that the world around is transforming and moving very, very fast. Digital is going to play a very, very important role. And when I say that digital is playing a very important role, this is going to impact not only the IT industry. I mean to say this is going to impact even, let's say, I being in the bank, I know that how digital platform has actually changed the way we do banking. We know that if I have to buy grocery, how this digital world has changed around me. If I have to travel, of course, temporarily maybe will not be able to travel, but then if a person has to travel, how the digital world has actually transformed around for traveling. There was maybe even 5 years back, we never knew that, any unknown place, can I really book a hotel? It is a very recent phenomenon. And then we have seen a lot of things coming, Voyo coming up, Make My Trip coming on, likewise, those things have come up. So the world is transforming very, very fast. And a lot of jobs are getting created in these areas. Jobs are getting created. And let me tell you one thing, that all these jobs, all these opportunities this gets created, these are the jobs which will run parallel to this COVID, this pandemic, which will subsequently become epidemic. So this is something which will run parallel to that. It's not going to impact. So say, for example, today, if the digital transformation of an organization has to happen to acquire the customers, those who are seated in the comfort of their home, they do not want to venture out to buy a product, something must be happening there. So those are the areas where, more of digital experts will be required. Maybe when we started our career, there was nothing like digital. There was marketing, there was sales, but now it has been changed to the digital marketing. There was nothing like an artificial intelligence. We knew that there is only natural intelligence that a person may have. We never knew about an artificial intelligence. There was nothing like cyber, or maybe cyber is something which kept on coming. So there was nothing like cyber security. So those things were not there. So those things were not there. A lot of new thing has happened, and all those new things, a lot of job creation happens. Now, so we understand that, there are certain things like market research, email marketing, customer relationship management, business development, digital marketing. These are certain things which will keep on happening. This will keep on growing. Idea here is that you have a technical know-how, but then the skill, like say Pramit, as he was mentioning in the initial opening lines, that there are certain skills which needs to be honed, which needs to be polished. We need to be really very good in that. We need to really work a little hard on that. And unfortunately, our academic or education system is such that those are the areas where not much of an effort is ever given. Even to this age also, that as I was mentioning that my daughter goes to a school, so I have a daughter, school going doctor. So I have seen that it's more of an academic oriented, the entire thing. So the skills which top comes to my mind, the top skills which comes to my mind is definitely what Pramit was mentioning, is communication is one. Now, when we talk about communication, it is not like Prashant Datta talking to Pramit and Prashant Datta addressing to a group of people. Communication could be in the context of a digital marketing. The communication could be that maybe a small sentence having the largest impact. That would also be a communication. The advertisement that we see is also a communication. So that is a one-way communication. On the other hand, maybe you will have to discuss a particular idea, a concept with your clients. You will have to make a presentation. That is also a communication. So communication per se is a very vast topic. I think that it's not with justice that we cover the communication aspect very heavily at this point of time only. But then communication is something which is a key to any role that you get into. And that is also a differentiator. That's one area which I think that you all definitely must put a lot of effort into that. And there are so many tools available, a lot of platforms available where you can actually go and then hone your skill, try your skills, record your skills, and then you see how well you make a presentation. And likewise, many more such things. So communication is very important. Problem solving is yet another thing. Now, problem solving is something which perhaps cannot be really honed sitting in an area of isolation. That is something which may be more related to job. But then this is something which we have actually started learning. So when you get stuck up in a arithmetic problem, so when I'm using the word arithmetic problem, of course, engineering graduates will be using much more complex terms for that. So when you think about a solution to that and come across a solution to that problem, so that is actually a problem solving. So problem solving could be people related problems. It could be a technology related problem. It could be a process related problem. So it could be many more such things. Initiative, enterprising, these are certain things which are always there. These are age-old things. But the only thing is that in the modern world, we have defined those things. Self-management is yet important thing because we all live in a very, very complex environment. So managing self is something which is really very important. Sadhguru was never popular, maybe, like few years back. Sadhguru is very popular now because, he talks about things which are more spiritual in nature, but then he talks also about the self-management part. And of course, learning is something which is very constant. And then finally, like as I say that technology is something which is very important. Technological know-how is something which is absolutely a must. So technology is something which you cannot learn the way you can learn your communications or maybe your soft skill aspects, because this is technological. So that is one area that you all have already chosen. So you have already taken that. So likewise,
Sir, Mr. Datta, it is very enlightening that you have taken us through those particular skill sets which you have told, because those are the important things which I personally feel all those people who are available here today will be much more eager to know from you. It's absolutely as you have told that technology is the driving force of the future, and as GDP is better in comparative to global platform as parameters, context is, India is still having some scopes. And as you have told, the average age of Indian population is definitely the youth, which is the power for the next. Managers will be from India only. So in global perspective as well. Sir, in this context, I just want to, though I have stopped you in between, please pardon me for that. But
please.
I just want to know, in this, is this situation, whichever is there, is going to be more graver than the recession which has happened in 2009? And if in this situation, if that marketing or this related job, which is still available because maximum of the service industries are available today, so where our people who are MBA and having technical background, will they be encouraged or get motivated to join the marketing and sales aspect through which they can lead their career forward? Please give your inputs.
Okay, so Pramit, I think the first question that you are asking me is that the recession in 2009 and the slowdown that we are going through at this point of time, which is a bigger one. And So I think that no face of a problem would be same. 2000 recession was largely, it impacted largely the other markets, India being a subsidiary to that entire impact. And it was a short-lived problem. And as it happens, money lost can be earned, but life lost cannot be earned back. So that is the basic difference, I believe. So now what is happening is that it is more a threat to the health overall, and that is the reason the recession has come in. That time it was, on the other hand, maybe money loss was there. So I think that if I have to term it, maybe I will term it in this way, that this particular time that we are going through economically is not because largely per se the economic decisions that has been taken, but that has come up. So, like say, for example, it may so happen that so what if a vaccine comes up? And we all pray and hope that a vaccine comes up. The moment the vaccine comes up, all the economies, all the countries, all the administration, all the governments, they will go, war footing. So ensure that more and more people are covered through that vaccine. Automatically, this entire economic revival will happen. So the slowdown in the economy has happened only because all across the globe, including India, people were sitting at home. People were not going to their workplaces. People were not manufacturing. People were not selling. People were not buying. It is because of that. But that doesn't mean that, that those needs are not there. Those monies are not there. The money is there. So I think that 2009, when the recession happened, that time people thought that it is one of the worst recession that the world could ever see. And surprisingly, the entire economy came back to their track. Even Indian economy came back to their track, and then it started growing rapidly. So that so I think that same thing is applicable here also. So these are two different ways of looking at it, and I believe at times that maybe this particular impediment that has come in the form of COVID is more of an opportunity for a country like India. India is going to definitely benefit out of it. But then, yes, as it goes to say, that we need to have a little patience. Maybe at this point of time, we have to keep our hopes, our determinations, and our state of mind intact. The future, the immediate future that we're going to see immediately after we conquer this particular epidemic is going to be far more superior than we saw after the recession of 2009.
Great, sir. Thank you very much for your optimistic this thing. Another thing, just I wanted to just get it from you now, that in this juncture, as because sales and marketing is a way where we have to be more participative, as you are telling, that this is more than not a financial issue, but it's a more physical participation, which is hindering the growth in finance sector, or the overall meltdown, or overall that thing which is coming down in the financial sector is because of that participation part. Once that will be ensured through vaccines or through medications, things will improve. But in this situation, as you know, sir, that sales and marketing demands this participation more participation in customers, more participations related to service and all those issues. So how do you suggest us in this juncture, shall we advise our upcoming leaders to take this career ahead in marketing and sales?
I think absolutely fine. So today, if I talk about marketing and sales, this is something which was always a darling profession for most of the people. It is going to be the same even at this point of time. See, when I talk about sales, if I talk about marketing, it is only about taking our products and processes to customers, those who do not realize that they have the need. So today, if I have a water bottle that I need to sell, I need to reach out to customers. Only thing is that the way of the sales would actually change. So maybe less of a physical meeting would happen. A customer also would not be comfortable for a physical meeting. So would the seller be. But the selling has to happen. And as a very important role. So today, like this platform, the digital platform that we all are talking in, so this platform can also act as a platform for buying and selling things, for pitching products. So I think it is no more required that you need to just get down off your car and then take the lift to the customer place. You need to just switch on the phone and the customer need to switch on the phone and then you need to discuss. I think that is something that's going to happen. And then subsequently, there is definitely a requirement of physical meetings. Those will happen. But I have a feeling that with the more and more innovative products and services coming up our way in this country, the profession of marketing and sales is going to rise and rise with the times to come. It's going to increase only from here. That is for sure.
Thank you very much for this positive inputs about sales and marketing. So, in a nutshell, if you are trying to tell us it is more than a transformation within a human being from normal transaction to involving customers through this type of platform. So, engagement will be more, involvement with the customers will be more to this type of personalized, taken care of internet and this mobile mobility platform, and sales will grow, and sales will be more pinpointed, and sales will be more target oriented, audience oriented.
Yeah,
So
Pramit, that is exactly what I meant to say. Just to give a small perspective, just one moment perspective that I wanted to give, that many youngsters in the recent times, if you go through the studies just before this COVID, youngsters were not really very keen to buy a car. Youngsters were not really very keen to actually own something or conveyance of their own, because Ola was there, Uber was there, that was something which is there. Now this COVID scenario, what has it led to? Like the demand for the two-wheeler, for the four-wheeler is going to rise. People are going to anyway use their own cars and all. So when people start buying car, ultimately it's the economy which is going to get benefited. So this is something which is going to happen. So that is also going to happen with a lot of our purchases that are going to change. So as I said, our perspectives will change. The products around are already there. So it's a benefit for one industry or maybe a little slowdown for other industry. That is all that is going to happen.
sir, just to add on to this, students who are always done their best in their career throughout their life in academics, so they are having their early educations and set of values and upbringing, which has made them what they are today. How they will be using in this post-COVID situation, whatever inculcated value they have already acquired in this situation, how they will use these values or early educations what they have already gone through with the authentic platform where it is related to example driven role, role model driven things. If means example driven and this early education mixture, if we want to get it into skill development, which you are telling us, then what should be the thing they should go ahead through? Once you have told us that there are so many courses available online, but apart from that, if something they want to do which will influence them better, what should be that, sir? If you can guide us.
So in my mind that comes, actually I was trying to keep myself in the foot of all the students who are actually grappling with this challenge. So see, one thing is there that we have to keep our mind very, very calm. That is something which is there. And the mind gets calm and excited only when we see that the future is bright. Now, while I say this particular thing, I mean to say that we need to actually do a soul searching and see that where is the interest of mind that lies. So say, for example, today, if somebody who's going into a Java developer, becoming a Java developer, now, like the hood was that every other person wanted to become a Java developer only. If somebody wanted to go into blockchain, everybody wanted to go into blockchain only. My point of view here is that you need to actually do a little soul searching and find out that what you are good at, what is it that makes you happy. Now, if you realize that, like doing a stand-up comedy is something which makes you laugh or make you happy, go ahead and do that as a career. If you think that storytelling is something which actually makes you really very happy, go and do it. You never know, a blockchain developer will earn much lesser in 5 years or 10 years down the line than what you will be earning narrating stories. So what I mean to say is that there is nothing like a one-fit-all product. What is important here is that the basic things. I'm sure that the universities, the colleges, the schools have also taught about a lot of basic fundamental soft skill development things. So I think it is you, because you are now adults, you are now ready to get into the workforce, getting added to the workforce. So you will actually have to think hard that what is it that I want? What is it that you want? According to that, look for that. I mean to say that everything is open. Just merely, like because my friend is trying to do an MBA, I also need to go ahead and do that MBA is something which is not a very wide choice or a wise choice. Every person is different. Every person has got a different strength area. the sooner we realize it and we start working on it, better it is. So that is what I meant to say, as far as this skill is achieved, concerned. So say for example, today, Pramit, getting into the financial industry, I do not know for you that how much of a choice you had and then you got into it. For me, it was more of an accident in the sense that, I thought that a job in a bank is a much better paying and a more rewarding in all other terms. So I got into it. I got into it and then I realized that this is something which is the same as, selling a FMCG or a soap. Selling a soap or selling a fixed deposit or insurance product or a mutual fund product is all the same only. So selling is something which is important. This product is something which is secondary. So whether I'm interested in that sales or not, I have to deal with people, be it customer, be it with our internal team. So if I have to deal with people, irrespective of the industry that I am into, that then maybe I hone my skill in the team management part. So I mean to say that is one area that I think a student should focus more on.
So thank you for this input. Once again, I will tell you, as because you have told that sales is such a thing which is all the same. If you are financial or it is automobiles, as you have mentioned, that automobiles market is going to rise with this post-COVID things are coming up because people will be more oriented towards self-driven cars and self-driven bike. So selling is more or less problem solving, to be provided, to be precise. Solving problem of the clients, giving solutions to different people. So it is more than which people. I just want to add another thing because if you will all allow me, that early education where upbringing gives us the value. So those basic values, if it is there embedded within me, that yes, I know how to solve a problem. Am I eager to be that supportive person? And the person who is next to me, who is could be 70 years of age, and he doesn't want anybody else but me only to solve whatever problem he is coming up with this, then I am a able leader. I am solving his issues. If it is a mobile, I'm solving it. If it is a finance, I'm solving it. If it is a travel and tour, I'm solving it. So that's how that sales and that solving attitude will take us through to the next level. So the last question from for today, I will be asking to you is what will be the do's and don'ts for the students in this juncture where these post-COVID things will be coming. So what we should definitely not do and what we should definitely try to do. So please give us, please enlighten us.
Yeah, so Pramit, the top thing that comes to my mind, which is absolutely a no, a person should never do, is that consciously a person should be very much aware that I should not ever go into the negative zone. So when things around us becomes a little difficult, things around us doesn't look that bright, it is a common tendency that we may get into a negative zone. We may go into our own boxes. We may go inward and we may think that, like I'm an unfortunate person, that this is something which has happened to me. My parents, they have spent so much of money for my education because education is no more cheap. It is quite expensive. And the parents have they've invested so much of money for the education, and now when the time has come, there's a time when maybe like so much of uncertainties are there, and this is where the mind starts playing dirty tricks. So we will have to keep ourselves in a very, very positive environment. Keep yourself in a very positive environment. Think positive, read positive, listen positive. Disassociate yourself from people those who are not positive oriented, and if possible also influence people around you so that they become positive. So I think the race is actually, the fight is within more than external. So once this particular thing is over, and then next thing is that once this is done, the mind is in a positive frame, then things starts appearing very, very clear. So then we realize that what is it that I need to get into. So maybe in the earlier times, or maybe in a normal time, a student may opt or look into a profession which may be trying to go to abroad also. Maybe I go to UK and then I get a particular job there. I travel to Australia, I go to America. Now that is something which is perhaps not going to happen very soon. So in that case, I'll have to reset and recalibrate my expectations and my hopes. And for that, I have to have absolute clarity and information. An informed mind will always take a better decision than a confused mind. So we have to bring ourselves out of this confusion. That is where I was trying to mention that today's youngsters are fortunate that all the information is available at the tip of the fingers. Then there are so many expert professors, industry experts. They can actually help you out in this. And I think that this is also one such initiative of Techno University, quite appreciative, of course. So I think there are a lot of experts who are available who could actually say or suggest that what is it that temporarily where one should get into. So somebody wanted to go into IT industry should actually think of getting into the digital aspect of the industry. So maybe one can explore. See, the Paytm was never there. Paytm today is a very big organization and they are generating plenty of jobs. So such kind of companies which anyway keep coming up. So those companies will keep coming and those companies will keep on providing opportunities. So we have to keep our eyes open. Blockchain was not there. Pramit, like maybe when we passed out of our college, did we ever think about a blockchain? I never knew of blockchain. But today blockchain is going to be maybe the alternate currency. And blockchain, if it becomes big, it's going to become so large that it could take unimaginable proportions. So I think those are certain areas where, and those are the organizations or in the industry, such kind of industry, the organizations who should look for people with the right bent, young people with knowledge, with enthusiasm, with the ability to think outside the box, with a positive frame of mind, with initiativeness, enterpriseness, all those things are there. So the world is actually very, very bright at this point of time, I must say that. So these are certain things that we have to keep in mind.
Sure, sir. That's a great value addition to us. So I feel our next speaker, Mr. Khalid, is there in the with us, or Mr. Khalid, if you can, I hope he got engaged in some. Yeah, Purba, if you can just help us.
Yes, I think for some technical issues, Khalid got disconnected. I'm not sure.
No issue.
I'll just take in Promit. In his place, I will just request you to carry ahead with the set of questions that is given for Khalid as of now. And once I'm able to connect him, I'll ask him to rejoin because I think he's got disconnected due to some technical issues. Let me just check with him.
No issues, Purba. We will
Yeah,
take it.
yeah.
So basically, that set of questions which were there as Khalid is not present. The aspect for the job opportunities for the freshers for post-COVID. To be precise, I personally feel Mr. Datta can also explain it that there are, as he has told, that you have to be positive, and there are the same positive frame of mind will be there for every industry to get back to the track. They'll be looking forward more capable people and people who are into, as Mr. Datta has once again re-emphasized that knowledge with basic information technology related platform where people can address each other, engage each other, communicate each other, and be more inquisitive to learn more. I personally feel the world is going towards a KPI driven world to collaborative world where I will not be bonded to my own KPIs or which is required from me, but it will be more towards my collaborations. How much value additions I can give to a different department, how much value additions I can put forward to the different person which is sitting next to me and trying to give his best. If that type of qualities which I am having, then companies will be looking forward that type of people. So, sir, I request you if you can add some more values to this. That post COVID, what will be the opportunities for the freshers? If you can take us through a little bit.
Pramit, you'll have to repeat the last line. I just put it out.
Basically, the job opportunities for the freshers in post COVID era. What will be the job opportunities? Will it going to increase?
Yeah. So, COVID per se is not a problem. Economy is a problem. So when I say economy is a problem, I mean like that COVID is the culprit. COVID has actually led to the slowdown of the economy. Now, whenever there is a slowdown in the economy, all the companies, they also become a little conservative. So they are no more that ambitious and optimistic. They slow down on their own only. So it is something like, when the economy is going through a slowdown, people, those who are earning, they also start postponing their purchases. Likewise, the companies also start postponing their expansions. So it will definitely have an impact on the job opportunity for freshers. Now, this is something which is a reality, which is a bitter reality, which we'll have to accept it. We cannot live in a world of denial. So say, for example, if X organization had an opportunity or a plan of adding 500 people, they may add maybe 200 people or maybe 100 people. I mean, this is an arbitrary number, but I mean to say that there will always be a drop in the number of people that they would hire. When there is a drop in the number of people that they would hire, it will definitely have an impact on the freshers. So now that doesn't mean, so a fresher may actually find it a little more difficult to find a job because the opportunities would shrink and the supply would be as it is. So number of people coming out ready to job or the work environment would be the same, but the job opportunities are lessened. So under that circumstances, there are two things that can happen. One is that a person should be ready to compromise for the time being. So maybe, like in mine, it was there that I want to start with this X level or position or with this salary. Maybe I'll have to think, I'll have to start from this. There is nothing wrong in this. Maybe I can start from this. That is one. Or else it could be that maybe if I were a fresher, I would see that whether I am willing to join with a little bit of a compromise. Because anyway, I said, no, the 35-year-long career is good enough to make good everything that went wrong in the initial stage. Good enough. Or else one thing more can be done, that this can also be an opportunity to go for maybe further education. So maybe a short-term course which you can actually think of, or it could be a master's that you can think of, or it could be altogether a different course that you already had or always have in mind that you should actually go for that. So those things can also be there. So you actually buy time also, at the same time you invest on yourself. So if somebody had thought that maybe you'll go for a further education after working for a few years, maybe you can think of going it right now, go for that further education, and then you get into the job market maybe a year or after 2 years. So that time maybe, you start from the point where you started or you thought that you should start. So I think these are the things. But then one thing is there, acceptance of the challenge is something which is important. Please don't be in denial. Challenges are going to be definitely there, but the challenges are not going to be so big to kill a person. That is something for sure. So those things are there. Freshers will definitely see, under normal circumstances also, freshers with the people, either they get a job from the campus or else they always had a challenge finding an opportunity for themselves. So freshers are the one, the lot as akin to the strugglers in the Bollywood movies. So they are like the strugglers of the Bollywood movies. They only go and become, big stars in few years down the line. So there's no harm in becoming a little struggler then to begin with.
Absolutely. So thank you for that input. Just the next question, which is pertinent to your insight to us, that is, if I am having a fantastic idea today, I feel, and if am I audible, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I am having a fantastic idea today, should I move towards entrepreneurship? Should I move towards a startup? Is it the right time? If it is so, then what are the ways to get the funding? Is it the right time where I can plunge myself into new startup business? And if so, then therefrom I'll be getting the funding. So as you are a banker, you can guide us through the funding processes. This is what the students are wanting to do.
Okay. So, there is always a requirement of entrepreneurs. And entrepreneurs are the people who actually go and frame the economy of the country. Had there been more entrepreneurs, had Ambanis or Tatas thought of going and working somewhere, they would have not generated so much of employment and wealth for the nation. So entrepreneurs are always more valuable a lot. Now, entrepreneurship is a journey which is full of uncertainties, full of risk. And while I say this thing, data only shows that there are entrepreneurs those who go to make it really very big. There are entrepreneurs those who fail also, but that is not the end of it. They again try, and the persistency of a person is something which actually leads to the success of a person. Now, while I say this thing that for an entrepreneurship, fund is something which is important, more than the fund, it is the idea which is more important. How workable the idea is, that is something which is more important. And even though you come up with a bright idea, you have to be prepared to face immense challenges. Just to divert a little bit from here, I had an opportunity of having a little interaction with the promoter of Big Bus. As we all know the story of Big Bus, that a few guys working in IT company in Bangalore, they got stuck up, they could not go home, and they thought that why not, there are buses with empty seats. On the other hand, there are people who are being told that there are no tickets. So it was a confusion in the system only, which was leading to revenue loss at the same time, challenges for the passengers also. So they went and approached all the travel agents, and then they asked that, if they can allow them to book tickets digitally. Everyone said, this is a cash-driven thing. Boys, why you are thinking of doing this thing? This is something which is not doable. But they did not give up. They stood in front of the same college that they passed out with the tokens, and they wanted that the students from the gate, they were not allowed entry. They're not allowed to enter the campus also of the same college. So they stood outside and requesting every student that in any way we'll have a bus ticket. Why don't you take it from us? Give it a try. And the bus operator said that I am giving you maybe 4 tickets. You sell it or you never come back to us. So, ultimately it went on to become so big a revolution in terms of booking, ticketing. Book My Show is also similar in nature. We never thought that OYO is going to become so large. Of course, OYO is something which has got badly impacted with the recent pandemic, but then still, nonetheless, the business idea is something which went to become so big. So money is something which there are capitalists who are more than willing to put money. It is the idea, it is the framework, it is the process of the future, that how you are designing it. And let me tell you one thing more. While I say this thing, I do not say that as a banker, you come to me, then I'll start funding you. That is something which there is, all banks, all institutions are guided by certain policies. According to those policies, it happens. This Deccan Airways, they started with a helicopter. And the first helicopter took them 10 years to buy, to get the regulatory approvals to come in place. Only after the 10 years of working and 10 years that it took to get the regulatory approval, then they actually decided what is the cost of a helicopter. They never thought what is it. They never bothered to find out the cost of the helicopter. And since they have proceeded and gone ahead so high ahead in that, so convinced with that idea and the opportunity and the businesses that it lay in front of that there are so many companies more than willing to sponsor them. And money never came as a hindrance in front of them. So all bright ideas which are worth converting or translating into an economic mode or a medium never faces dearth of this opportunity of money. Because the money simply doesn't disappear. In the economy today, there is a slowdown when we talk about that. Means Prashant Datta is not buying things which ideally Prashant Datta used to buy. Pramit is not buying things which Pramit used to buy. But the money is there. Money has not disappeared. And likewise, when Prashant Datta or Pramit puts money in the form of a SIP in a company, we are also investing in that company. So likewise, people, those who are, say, 100 times, 1,000 times wealthier, those people also keep looking for money to be put in the bright ideas. So money is something which is there. The world also looks forward to Indian entrepreneurs because they come up with really bright ideas which are actually worth translating into real business. So I think it's more of an idea, more of a conviction, more of a strength, more of a courage of yours. Money will never be a constraint. So that is how it is.
That's great, sir. If the resources are there and the people who are judging to give whom the resources and whose ideas to be banked on is there in this world, so ideas will be ever entertained and they will be given their required prestige and required honor. And I do agree within this situation, there are so many government schemes has also come up, for particularly in MSME sector and other sector, as a campaign will be also telling about it.
Yeah, Pravit, correct. You are correct.
So many easy loans are available. In particularly, you have to choose. If you are thinking about the ideas to the students, I just want to tell because I'm also getting information of so many of my seniors and so many of my customers and clients. So they are moving and they are having their diversifications. They are also thinking about healthcare industry, which is going to rule the world. So anything which is related to manufacturing of healthcare product to services to education is going to be the diamond of future. So if anybody of you are thinking about that, government has created so many platforms to get loans. Apart from that, different forms of term loans are there, where the government is giving you, because in the question there was a thing that how much I can get the loan and how easily I can get. You can get startup loans are available, but also with lesser interest nowadays, government is giving the initiatives so that people can come into the entrepreneur role and try to do something good. So apart from that, sir, I just want to just exchange your views, because we are not that particular person to give the exact opinion about it. In this what it is internet-driven platform, how a student can be properly, assessed, because that also is a challenge to the education sector. That also is a challenge to the person. If I am a very good writer, I can write, I can make people understand through my writing, through my process of 3 hours, 4 hour examination and assessment process, and that is not going to happen very. It is a challenge which I see. There will be education, there will be examination also, but more authentic part will be there. I have to be project driven. I have to be more solution driven. I don't know. Please add some inputs into it, so if you can give us how the assessment for the students will be more uh, in this juncture.
No, when you mean to say assessment, what assessment? Is it the faculties also do the assessment, or is it self-assessment they are talking about?
Self-assessment, definitely it is one of the virtue by which they will be getting the confidence back, because motivation is important part. But if the faculties, they are going to rate us, they are going to give us that authentication or the accreditations to be a person for the future, or they want to give us a graduation or whatever certificate they want to give it, how it will be more suitable nowadays platform. And please give some idea.
So, Pramit, of course, these are very broader ideas. But what I understand is that, and what I believe is that, assessment, like if I talk about, so if I talk about an assessment, if I talk about a feedback, now this is something which is extremely important, extremely important. So, as it happens that if the right assessment is given, a singer can actually go ahead and become a national acclaimed singer. But a right feedback is not given, he can actually end up singing all in parties. So I think that is how important the assessment is. Self-assessment is something which is a very, very critical evaluation. We need to be actually really partial or impartial in evaluating ourselves. But the biggest challenge that comes is that a person may not be in a position to evaluate himself in terms of, say, team management. How could a person today evaluate that whether I am good in team management or not? This is something which a third party, a neutral person who's looking at you from a distance can actually tell it to you.
Right, sir. What I personally came out of this, whatever you have told me, the self-assessment is the best way to this managerial job. When a person getting job is easier, and then maintaining and taking it forward by self-assessing only it is possible. Because managers and the faculties, whoever are there throughout our life, they have given us inputs, but understanding from our own self can driven us better. So, sir, I personally feel through this journey of 1.5 hours, whatever we got that inputs from you and Mr. Khalid, it was very resourceful from the point of discussions on this future ready aspect and the aspects of post-COVID scenario where the people are much more confused. So I'm very sure that world tomorrow is going to be more rosy, and world tomorrow will be more driven towards management oriented organized sectors. Organized sectors are going to come up, unorganized sectors will be definitely being more organized nowadays. And so, if the unorganized sectors will be organized, managers will be more required to manage those organized sectors in more organized way. So taking this, thinking about this as a positive note for the future, I personally think that with two small last lines, so just we want to close the session so that with that motivation, the people who are the attendees of this class, if not they are having any questions, we can close the session. So can you just take us to the last two words, two sentences, which can finally give that motivation back to us so that we can go ahead and conquer the world and make our institution's names and our family name above all.
Yeah, so the message that I want to give to all the students is that the world is a beautiful place to be in. And today, India is one of the best countries to be in. And believe you me, that you all have that inherent skill, the ability. That is something which, that is how a human being is, to overcome all challenges. Only difference is that we have to learn to adapt a little bit. We have to learn to adapt to the new normal. The normal that I'm talking about is not going exactly the same way as it was maybe 4 months back also. So the world around us has changed. The world has changed. That doesn't mean that world has collapsed. It has not collapsed. Nothing has gone wrong. Just it is a slowdown that has come up. So when you are taken a marathon race of say 10 kilometers, 30 kilometers, 25 kilometers, certain stretches you slow down, where like you take more deeper breaths, you take a little bit of nourishment, and then you walk a distance instead of running, and then again you start running. So the ultimate goal is something which is that 25-kilometer milestone. That is something which you have to achieve. So that is something which you will anyway reach. So whether you take that slow step in the beginning, in the middle, or in the last leg, is something which actually doesn't determine and change the ultimate journey and the goal that you achieve or you reach. Likewise, in this particular case also, do not get overwhelmed about this environment. I am telling you that there is always a larger opportunity after every impediment that comes in life, be that in economy, be that in career, that be in personal life. And since it's not a very interactive session with the students, so that's the reason that I am just guessing. But then what I can understand looking at the Techno University students that I have seen while going in the campus for various jobs and various things, I have seen that the guys are quite bright, quite vibrant, quite confident. Such kind of vibrant and confident guys are actually made to rule this world. They are not made to actually sulk and feel bad about themselves. So things are going to be definitely much, much better, bigger, and larger than you have actually thought of it. It is going to be there. Keep the hopes intact.
Thank you, sir. So hope part is very important. So with this inputs from your side, we will be we will be just opening the question and answer session, and it will be live for the students whoever are interested. They can come up and they ask to sir, and whoever is present here, we will try to address your answers, give you answers, and guide you through. Purva and Shreya, I will be requesting you if you will ask the student to start their questions if somebody is having it.
Sure. Any students, do you have any questions? If yes, please raise your hand. Shudipta sir, kindly let us know if there is any students who has any questions, or we can move ahead with the closure of this session. Momita Sengupta, somebody raised hand. Shudipta sir, can you please check? Shudipta sir, can you please check? She has a question. Momita, if you can hear me, you can also put your question in the chat box. So that
I guess Momita can ask directly. Momita,
Okay.
are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm there.
I think it's Momita ma'am.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, this is Momita ma'am actually.
Yeah, I
Yes,
heard
ma'am.
your
Yes,
voice
ma'am,
only,
please.
then I could understand. Please go ahead, ma'am, please.
No, first of all, a big thank you to all of you for arranging this beautiful discussion. And both of the speakers I really loved what you said, and I happen to be the one of the communication instructors. So when you said that communication, you began with stressing on communication. So I felt very vindicated. But please, but the question, sir, is that how do we prepare ourselves psychologically at this point of time? The students right now need some kind of a psychological bracing, because it is, as you said, if not a difficult time, then definitely a time which for which there are no lessons, not a lot of lessons from history. So there is a psychological issue which we encounter a lot while interacting with students. So just if a few lines could be said on that.
Yeah, Momita ma'am, thank you very much for coming, forward. And it is very nice that, happy for me to understand that you take care of the communication, because that is the most important thing, which I am sure that all your students are going to realize maybe in the future when they get into their job. So you are actually shouldering a very, very important responsibility. So
Many, many
that is one
thanks,
thing.
sir. Many, many thanks.
Okay, so ma'am, when you say and you ask this thing, so I think the biggest enemy is actually in our mind only. The enemy that is COVID-19 is definitely which is there, which is conquerable, but then the enemy that is lying in our mind is to be conquered first. So that way I can understand that our students, those who are there in this discussion, they definitely are going through a very difficult time. And I sometimes feel sorry about it, but then I feel this way that feeling sorry is definitely not a solution. And while I say this thing, I also say that all the students are now adults, they are grown up. And as I say that they are just one step away or one step shy from stepping into the world of professional world. So I think that somewhere or the other, it is our personal responsibility also to ensure that our state of mind remains very, very positive. It's easier said than done. Best thing is that, ma'am, in our communication classes, I think that which happens maybe in a digital platform only, the people can actually articulate and people can actually spell out their fears, that what exactly is the fear. Because when we try to define a particular thought which is confusing in our mind, we automatically get an answer. So that is something which is there. And of course, we know that teachers are the therapist also. So what I mean to say that today you are trying to become a therapist for the students for their betterment, which is indeed a very, very noble initiative from your mind or from your side. So I think that if the fears are all spelled out, if the fears are all defined, the moment we define those fears, I think that 50% of the work is done. So say, for example, that today the biggest fear is that what if I don't get a job? Say this is a fear in the mind of the student. Now, if you do not get a job, then these are the points 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that is going to happen. Nothing beyond that is going to happen. And when the student is also exposed to this kind of options available, and number one, a student may think that this fear is there only in my mind. Every other guy is fearless. Only I am fearful. But when you do a heart opening session, in that case, you will see that 99% of the people will have the same common fears. And, and as we know that birds of the similar feather flock together. So that is something which will be there. So I am sure that beyond our knowledge and understanding also, the students can actually reach out to each other and act as a support system for each other. So that is something which is there. So while you say this thing, I understand that it is extremely important. Winning our mind, saying to our mind that everything is okay, is the most important thing at this point of time. The students still have 1 year time actually to get into the, not 1 year, maybe a little lesser than a year. But by the time maybe things would actually change, all this problem that we are talking about actually would have been of no significance at all. So that is something which is there, ma'am, that comes to my mind.
Mr. Datta, thank you very much for this inputs. It is particularly I feel that the question whatever Momita ma'am has asked is, and you have given the answer is, it has to be, that the victory has to be there in everyone's mind. So we have to win over ourselves and go ahead with that, whatever whatever is coming for us. So I just want to, for the sake of reiteration, I just want to tell once again that it is not that I have to predict, I have to prepare my career. I will make my world where I want to live. I will never predict. So it is a time where we have to take the destiny in our hand and go ahead. And for that, the calmness of mind and the qualities, whatever we have gathered within that processes of challenges, whatever Almighty has given us to prepare us, this is the time to give to write the answer sheet. So, any other question from any of the participants so far? Anyone is having any question?
Sir,
Yeah, Miss
um,
Shatyami, yes, please tell.
yes, our human brain, not human brain, I'll say our human heart actually don't like insults and rejections. So if something happens as an insult or rejection, then what should we do? I mean, how should we cope up with the heart and with the mind? Because we don't take insults so easily, but we have to face it as an intern or henceforth next in the industry also. We have to, because not always we can be perfectly correct, not always we can serve every time almost everything correct. We sometimes have to make mistakes, I mean not intentionally but obviously, or not nothing, I mean all are not known to us. So how do we face that and how do we cope up with that?
Okay. So I think this is a very beautiful question that you have asked, and I really appreciate that you have actually given words to this question. Now, our minds are hardwired, and we also have an expectation for ourselves. So that is the reason that you will see that one difficult word, or rather say one disturbing word, or one bad word will have more impact than a physical injury. So this is basically what is, because the insult is something which is very difficult to digest. Humiliation is something which is more difficult to digest. So humiliation, insult, this demeaning, these are certain things. Now, while we get into this world is not expected and supposed to be fair. It is not supposed to be fair. People are fair. Not all people are bad. But the circumstances are such that a person may actually feel that the world is not fair. Now, there one feeling that can come is that the feeling of victimization. Now, what has to be done is that in the conscious level, in the conscious mind, because this, say for example, today I reprimand a team member of mine. I say, scold him that this is something which you should have done. Why have you not done? The choice with that person is that that person will actually pull into a shell. The person would actually avoid coming and talking to me. The person would actually go and then meet a friend and then sulk and then get into certain things. These are the choices with that person. The other choice with the person is that maybe he'll call me up, come and meet me. Of course, meeting in a neutral time, maybe not now. Now maybe call me and then ask that what is it that has gone wrong. And you told me this thing, I maybe did not like it. It could have been told in a different way. The moment that happens, what will happen in my mind? That yes, maybe somewhere I had forgotten that I should also, I'm not entitled to insult people. I'm supposed to actually, give respect to every person, irrespective of the stature. Because by age, that person is junior to me, and that's the reason that that person is junior to me, reporting into me. But when he comes to my age, maybe you'll have a bigger responsibility and charges. Now that is a realization which either I may have. If I have that realization, then though I will be taking care of my subordinates, my team members, people around me. If I don't have that realization, somebody will have to point it out. Most of the time it so happens that people choose to remain silent. They sulk, they feel bad about it, they cry, shed tears, but they never come forward and then say that this is something which you do not like, because it calls for courage. So you should have the courage. Everyone should have the courage that if something which is not happening as per the way it has to be, then my daughter never hesitates. She comes back to me and says that, why did you, scold me? Today you have scolded me twice, but why did you do that? I never had that guts to go to my father and tell it to me when I was her age. So the world around has changed. So people are demanding, that I demand respect. This was always there, maybe inherent during our growing up years, not inherent at this point of time. This is something which is there in front of us. And second is that we should also train our mind to let go things. Somebody told me something which I did not like. If I ponder, if I go deep into that, I'm not going to get any solution. It is going to trouble me only. So best thing is that I just let it go and move ahead in life. Because there are so many works that you will all be expected to do when you get into the professional world, that if you sit and stand with one thing that somebody told bad about something, you will actually lose the race. So the race is such that you will not have any chance of looking back and thinking why it happened. Kharab bola, theek hai, go ahead. No feeling of revenge should be there. So I think that is something which we have to train our mind. We have to bring it to our conscious mind from the subconscious mind that yes, there will be times when people would humiliate. There are times when people will insult me. It is my choice whether I accept it as an insult or not.
That's great. So basically, just to add on, that if we are not capable of taking criticism, then we have to develop it more in our own managerial skills. If I am not apt to take criticism, then I have to evolve more. And vulnerability is the thing which will make me develop. I know that issues, whatever you have asked, that sir has also told that you have to let go and go ahead, and you have to take a different perspective of it. But definitely, you have to be less you and more the responsibility that will help you to grow. So, anybody else who is having any other question? Anyone who is there to ask any other question?
So Pramit, I think that they have done away with the questions, and in fact,
Yeah.
in case they have any more questions, I think through Purva they can always reach us out, or maybe subsequently when we have such kind of another webinar, maybe we can take up those questions.
Sure.
So I think that we can proceed ahead with the closure.
Great. So, before closing the session, I want to just once again ask Purva to come back and do
I'm
the-
just here, sir. I'm just here.
Yeah.
I've not been anywhere.
Oh, great, great. So
I
please,
was waiting for y'all to, successfully and properly close down the session so that I could speak. I don't
Please,
like
please.
to barge in.
Neni, thank you very much for that fantastic, platform which you have provided. Now the floor is up to you. Please go ahead, Purva.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, both of you. Thank you for all the faculty members and the students who have taken their time to be present here. Actually, as we all know, the situation is getting from tough to tougher, but we have to fight situations, right? We have to not only fight situations, emerge successful, because that's what makes us Techno Indians. That's what makes Techno India ahead from anybody else. And just to proceed in the same dimension, I had requested Mr. Pramit Ghosh and Mr. Prashant Datta to be with you all, so that we the life that we are moving in becomes a little more easier. We get a little more confidence, because a point in life does come wherein we all stumble, we all fall, but it's there from where we need to pick up and move ahead with more confidence. And techno students, technoins are an expert in doing that. And concluding, sir, thank you so much. We look forward to having you both once again. And it's been a real pleasure. And thank you for whatever you have said. The session was very enlightening. I hope the students have also learned a lot. They have got a lot of motivation, which was the primary concern of the placement team. We all were working together so that in this situation where they're sitting at home, they do not know where tomorrow is leading them and what their future is going to be. Words from people like you can really add a lot of value. Thanks to all the team members that are there with me, who have silently worked very, very hard, starting from designing the banners, from putting up the Google Forms, from inviting you, my entire team, Shreya Basu, Gaurav Pal, Kunal Gair. Thank you. I take this opportunity to thank each and every team member. Thank you, Shudipto sir, as usual, for always being there, for always being behind the scene and doing the most important job. And thanks a lot. Thank you, students. Good night. It was wonderful having you on this session. Thanks to you both too, sir. Thanks a ton.
Thank you very much, and all the best.
Thank
Thank
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.